Everyone, I'd like to introduce you to Allie Berry. Everyone say hello, Allie.
Oh my god, it's beautiful.
That's right. She's a very shy aloe plant. I'm also taking name suggestions because that name kind of sucks. Yo, what's up, boys and girls? It's Swolelax, and I'm back at in a video with something a little bit different. Today, welcome back to the series where my hair is slowly eating my face. Today, you and I get to talk about how Konami has been trolling us with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. If you do not know, if you've been living under a rock for a little bit and you like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Master Duel is a new game that Konami is putting out as the forefront of competitive play for online Yu-Gi-Oh! Supposedly it's going to mirror the current modern format of Yu-Gi-Oh! And containing most, if not all, the cards inside of the game. I'm hyped for it. You're hyped for it. She, he, we are hyped for it. But the problem that I have with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel right now is I feel like I'm going crazy. Master Duel is really not that far away. However, I feel like we know very little about it. In fact, here's what we know about Master Duel so far. We know that there will be 10,000 plus cards. We can assume these are the most recent sets. We know that there's going to be dual pets and dual spirits, along with other cosmetics like sleeves and potentially things like fields. We know that there is a story mode akin to arcade mode in like classic fighting games, which is pretty cool. We do know there will be a ranked mode that comes out. We know that the release date is sometime inside of 2022. We know that Exodia has a cool new win animation. And of course, we know that normal summon Alistair still works. Tight. Other than those things, which I argue is not a lot to begin with, we know shockingly little about a game that's supposed to revolutionize card games and Yu-Gi-Oh! And esports and whatever. So let's talk a little bit why it's really frustrating and I'm a bit worried. The first thing that I want to address with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, aka just Master Duel, as I will now be referring to it from this point on, is talking about the information drip that we've been getting from Konami and official sources. I'm calling this section the slow news day. So recapping the news from Master Duel all the way from its early reveal to now, we have about 4 different major points in time in which news or information has been given to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Player base. The very first announcement and hintings of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel becoming a thing is inside of December of 2020 with Jump Festa 2021 revealing that Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is something that is looking to be in development, a game focusing around the master rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! A huge pog, and my interest was piqued. So was a lot of other people. There's reactions to this. There was small hintings of news, people wish listing what they wanted from Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and predictions of what we potentially could get. This buzzed up huge hype, but it quickly died down as there was no video or pictures. It was mainly just like, hey, this is happening. Big news, but very little information. But then out of seemingly nowhere, Konami and Yu-Gi-Oh! Announced a Digital Next event. This short Nintendo Direct-like presentation blessed us with information about upcoming Yu-Gi-Oh! Titles such as Rush Duel, Cross Duel, and finally, a reveal trailer for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Very cool, very hype. This trailer was awesome. It's the first glimpse we have into the game. It's the first idea of what we have it's gonna look like, the graphics, the cool little pets that are on the side of it. We got a surprisingly large amount of information from this, but not enough to where I can say it's like, yeah, we know what's gonna happen. We know our concerns are addressed, but we'll get to that in a second. But this trailer left a lot to be desired inside of the player base, and everyone was foaming at the mouth for any type of news that we could get about the upcoming Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Give me news, Konami. So from December 2020 that we knew that Master Duel was inside of development, we got this trailer a little less than a year later in August of 2021. 1 month later, however, we got news that Gamescon was going to be hosting a Yu-Gi-Oh! Spotlight with potential news on Master Duel. It's so cool. Except for it wasn't. It was actually surprisingly lame. Effectively, what we got was a minute-long teaser trailer that showed us not a lot that we didn't already see before, and then the rest of the time was just, you know, the dudes sitting around. They played speed duels. It was a fun time and it was enjoyable. And the trailer was cool, but it's like, yeah, you had this announcement. So to be honest, the trailer's really cool, but you know, we got really hyped for the initial trailer in August, and then this one here, it's like, yeah, we saw that already. I have some questions, and everyone writing the copium being like, no, there's extra stuff all the weekend of Gamescom. We're gonna see Master Duel news, I swear. So far, those are our 3 big announcements. We have the initial announcement, we have the initial trailer, and then we have the teaser trailer. All of which are cool, but leave a lot to be desired. However, the shining light in the distance said that there was going to be a specific presentation at the Tokyo Game Show 2021 with Konami being a focus and Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel having its own presentation, its own thing. Mic drop, crowd goes wild. Konami, Konami, Konami. Everyone's like, this is a slam dunk. Easy peasy. Tokyo Game Show happens. Everyone's hyped for it. We watch the presentation. We skip everything at the beginning and go to the last, like, I think 10, 20 minutes of the presentation. And then it's like, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, awesome. We're in the full swing of things. And they freaking pull the power cord and they're like, hey, actually tune in for the rest of this in another hour. So now we're having to, like, big chill for another hour or two, waiting for the news, more news on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, continuation of the already recorded video that they were playing in the normal presentation. They're like, all right, oops, we're out of time. All right, well, you can see it later. Which, by the way, because they had it queued up already that they were going to live stream this, they had the thumbnail ready, they had all of that set up. It leads me to believe that this was planned. This was on purpose. It wasn't just like, oops, well, we're out of time. It was like, yeah, no, you guys can see it over there. Anyways, what we got in that presentation was really cool. I like the PvP. I like the fact that we get a story mode focused on the card lore. That was freaking tight, which is all really cool. I think after all the charades and shenanigans and the hoops that we're having to jump through to get a taste of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, we also get a release date of winter 2021, which sounds awesome, until you realize that the winter quarter probably means February 2022 or March 2022. 4 press releases in a year, and also in this short time span, relatively speaking, is nice, and it's also really cool, but because we have so little information about the game and the presentation of the game, I do feel like this is the early development stages still of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel card game. What I mean by this is I think because Konami has not quite shown us other features, including things like general menus, I think that we're not going to be seeing these things until much later, which again, worries me. And all those hoops and ladders to get news on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel sound frustrating. It is. But the show goes on when you take a look at the confusing marketing for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. So take into account everything that we've seen so far about the game inside of its press releases, inside of its presentations, and it doesn't quite make sense who they're quite marketing this game to. Upon initial inception, you might say, oh, this is going to be for the TCG fans, the people who play the card game. This is gonna be super cool. However, I'd argue that they're trying to market to more of a casual audience, and if not a more casual audience than what I think their target audience is, people who would actually playing this game and shelling out money for this game. It's interesting because visuals and the card pool is all really cool, but when you show off things like a story mode and things like cosmetics and add-ons, and you add on things like, I don't know, a win animation for Exodia, which is iconic, yes, but this stuff tends to trend really heavily with casual audiences, which I don't necessarily think is Konami's target audience for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Realistically speaking, I think a lot more people care about things like about the mechanics, the gameplay, the user experience, and specifically how all those things relate to the competitive market. Casual audience for Yu-Gi-Oh! Will probably get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Just pretty much whatever. I think the tiptoeing around the competitive audience and the competitive market for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really what is my core concern with what I've been seeing from Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and with Konami's way of presenting Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel to its community. I think it's incredibly hype. I think it's incredibly cool. But like I said, the confusing marketing of what we've been seeing from this tells me that Konami wants to emphasize and prioritize showing us the features like a story mode and Exodia and cosmetics rather than showing us things that we might actually be curious about and what might make or break this game competitively. And this comes down to our third talking point, which is understanding the player base. So the people who are going to be watching the announcements, who are going to be paying attention to what they're showing, are this player base. It's going to be things like the card pricing model and how we're going to be obtaining cards within the game. Is it going to be events? Is it going to be packs? Is it going to be like Duel Links? All important questions. How the rank system looks, how the rank system works. Online multiplayer and its ultimate functionality. The thing that I haven't quite seen to be addressed is the UI and the menus and how that's going to relate to a good user experience and a good visual experience for the audience when not inside of gameplay, because that stuff does matter. How many bangers do we have on the music soundtrack? Which, okay, that point no one cares about. I'm just curious. Realistically, we don't know if they're going to be trying to merge this, or we're going to have different band lists, or we're able to play past formats. These are all valid points that I think the majority of the dedicated player base will care about much more than things like an arcade story mode, than things like cosmetics and like an Exodia win animation. Don't get me wrong, these things are hype and these things are really cool. It drums up a lot of really positive influence for the game. And however, we're already super on board with having a official online Yu-Gi-Oh simulator. One that looks this good, by the way. I think the game looks stunning inside of its gameplay, and I've really enjoyed what we've been watching so far. I just kind of wish that we were able to get little trinkles of information. Again, like I said, this worries me because I think that the game's still in early development based off of these factors and what they've been able to show us. In addition, I also think they potentially haven't quite narrowed down what they want to do about these systems in place, like the rank system, online multiplayer, the UIs and menu. However, one of the most important things that I think they haven't quite figured out yet internally is how this game is going to be monetized. Konami's got teams and teams and teams of professional researchers and user experience designers, and obviously they're looking into this. I'm just a dude and a camera talking to people online in my bedroom like a crazy person with a plant who cares a little too much about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel news releases. You get my point. These things I think are valid concerns, and like I said, I think these are things that the actual audience, the actual target end user of this product will care about way more than things like Exodia. This video is definitely more of like a classic rant. I just kind of have these thoughts and opinions on how I think we're getting baited left and right by Konami, and how it's been presenting its information about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, how we just know very little but are still super hyped about it, and how the game is gonna come out relatively soon. But at the same time, we know nothing. We know ultimately nothing, and it's frustrating. I'm looking forward to more news, and like I said, I've really enjoyed what we've seen so far. I really have, and I'm just very excited. But I have concerns. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about this one. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave it a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I've got a lot more videos coming in the pipeline, so stay tuned for that if you would like to. But yeah, if you guys have concerns about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, what are you guys looking forward to in this game? How did you guys like the PvP and the presentation, the lore thing? It's actually, again, like I said, all very cool. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's all I gotta say. Peace out.